Section 3.5 involves solving equations that have variables on both of the sides or each side. They are very similar to what we've done, but we have to do more steps to them because this time we have to put the numbers together that have the variables. So my goal is going to be to bring this, if you will, over to this side and to take this over to that side. Now it doesn't really matter which one you do first, so we'll go ahead and add positive 2 to both sides. Now you know that you cannot add the 2 to the 2p, so you add it to the negative 1. These are equal to 0, so I'm left with 10p is equal to 8p plus 1, because that's what I get when I add the 2 and the negative 1. Well, now remember I've got to take the 8p to that side, so that 8p is added. I want to add a negative 8p or subtract the 8p. Those go away. I'm left with 2p is equal to 1, so I'm going to divide both sides by the 2 because the 2 is multiplied by the p, and I'm going to get p is equal to 1/2. You can take the time to plug it back in and make sure you got the right answer. You would plug it in for both that position and that position. All right, again here, we're going to want to get that one over on that side, and we're going to want to get that one over here. So I can take a choice, and I can decide which one I want to do first. I'm going to add a negative 8 to both sides. So that's going to give me a 5s equals 7s plus a negative 10, because if you will, I can add the opposite of my second number there. So I have a negative 2 plus a negative 8, which gives me a negative 10. I'm going to add a negative 7s to both sides. Those go away. I'm left with a negative 10 on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to have a negative 2s. Because the signs are different, I'm going to subtract, use the sign of the larger number. I still don't have the s by itself, so I need to get rid of that negative 2. What I have multiplied by the s, I now need to divide to get rid of it. Remember, the opposite of multiplication is division. That gives me a 1, so I don't need to deal with it anymore, and this gives me a positive 5. So s has a value of 5. That is the value that when I put it back up in that equation, it should work. Sometimes you have answers that have no solution, or what we call empty set, or we have answers that have a solution of all real numbers, which means every number you put in there would work. So let's look at this one. The very first thing that we want to do is we want to do the distributive property on the right-hand side. So I'm going to add the opposite of the second number there and there. So I have 5m plus a negative 35 plus negative 3m. So I can put those numbers together. So I have 2m plus 5 is equal to, let's say, oh, that's a 3, not a 2, is equal to 2m plus negative 35. So I want to move that over there and this over here. So we're going to do 2m plus 5 minus 5 is equal to 2m plus negative 35, and I'm going to add a negative 5 over there as well. So I have 2m is equal to 2m plus negative 40. Going to add a negative 2m to take that from this side to this side, and I'm going to get 0 because it's going to cancel out there and it's going to cancel out there. So I have 0 is equal to negative 40. That is not a true statement. So the answer here is empty set, and what that means is there is absolutely no number that will work in this equation. Let's do this one. We have to do distributive property here. Let's add the opposite and distributive property there. distributive property, and distributive property. So that's going to give me 40c plus negative 16 is equal to 320 plus 40c. So if you will, I want to bring my c's to the left-hand side and my numbers without the c's to the right-hand side. So I have 40c plus negative 16 is equal to 320 plus 40c. I'm going to add a positive 16 to both sides. Those go away, so I have 40c is equal to 336 plus 40c. I'm going to add a negative 40c to put it on the other side, okay, because I want to take it over there. So I do just the opposite of what I have here. Notice in both spots, when I add them, they cancel out. So I get 0 is equal to 336, which is not true. So that is empty set. There is no solution for it. Okay, now look at this. This has distributive property here on both accounts. So I want to do that first. So I have 8, this will give me 18 over 3 plus 2 over 3q equals 12q minus 42. Okay, now this is equal right here. That's equal to 6. So I have 6 plus 2/3 q equals 12q minus 42. Now, let's say I don't want to work with fractions, and this is a little trick that you can use with fractions. If I decide I can multiply this whole thing by the 3 and get rid of that fraction on the bottom. So when I do that, as long as I do it to everything, it's legal. So I've got 18 plus 2q, because that's going to give me 6 over 3, which is 2, is equal to 36q minus, let's see, that's going to give me 626. All right, so we want this to go to that side, and we want this to go to that side. So we are going to add a negative 18 to both sides. And I need to make sure, well, let's see if they come back. I want one to come out all real numbers, but I'm not sure. We'll not have to go back and do a different one. Okay, I'm adding a negative 18, so I have 2q is equal to 36q plus a negative, let's see, 144. I'm going to subtract the negative 36q. And I'm going to get negative 24q, or negative 34q equals negative 144. So I need to divide by negative 34. And I'm going to get a positive number because I have a negative divided by a negative. So let's do that out. Let's see. It's not going to be, might be 3. No. I feel like something, I might have copied it wrong. Make sure we didn't make any mistakes. You multiplied everything by 3. Oh, yeah, no, I did multiply that by 3. 18, 2. Alright. I'm just making sure I didn't make any careless mistakes. Alright, I don't think it comes out even. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to reduce it to lowest terms, and we'll just leave it as a fraction. So we can divide both the top and the bottom by 2, and that's going to give me a 72, because 2 goes into that 72 times, and on the bottom it's going to give me 17. So I'm going to leave that as my answer. Alright, let's do this one. 4t plus 80, because I have to do distributive property, is equal to 20t over 5 plus 400 over 5, because I'm multiplying straight across. Those are the same as over top of 1. That leaves me with 4t plus 80 is equal to 4t plus 80. Now notice on this one, it's the same answer on both sides. So when I begin to get my variables together and move things over, I have 4t is equal to 4t plus 0. Going to add a negative 4t to both sides, and I'm going to get 0 equals 0. Now, that's a true statement. 0 does equal 0, but my variables are gone, so my final answer is all real numbers, which means any number that you chose for t would work in this equation. All right, one more. Again, let's go ahead and add the opposite, and do distributive property. 2b plus negative 6 plus 5 equals 3b plus negative 3. So I have 2b plus a negative 1 is equal to 3b plus negative 3. Now I'm going to want to bring that over, and I'm going to want to take that over there. Those are the two moves I'm going to make to begin with. So I have 2b plus negative 1 equals 3b plus negative 3. I'm going to add a positive 1 to both sides. Those go away. So I have 2b is equal to 3b plus negative 2. I'm going to add a negative 3b to both sides. So that's going to give me a negative b equals negative 2. But I'm not allowed to leave it with a negative variable. So what I have to do, that's the same thing as being multiplied by negative 1. So I must divide by negative 1 to get rid of that negative. So that leaves me a b equals 2. And that's going to be your answer for that. All right, your homework on this is page 152 through 153, 16 through 40 even.